The real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for, not in the way you reach them.
You are now listening to Musings Behind the Creative. What's your passion? Hi and welcome to another episode of Musings Behind the Creative. I am your host, Renata Dixon-Nwosu, and on today's episode we will be talking to a London-based personal trainer called SOS, and you can follow him on Firm Fitness on Instagram. And my main reason behind this was, I don't know if I told you guys yet, but I'm trying to launch a home collection that is embedded in African style, cultural heritage and flair, but which was a great idea at the beginning, and then it was like, okay, but what does African design look like? I know what I think it looks like, I know what it's portrayed to look like, but really what is it? And I thought, okay, well, that's too much of a wide net to cast. How about I start with what is the Igbo lexicon of design, and then what is the Nigerian lexicon of design, and then start bridging out. So I decided to speak to SOS about the Ivory Coast and try and get an understanding of, if I decided to go out there, how would I be able to identify, or what would I be able to pick out from it, or what would I say, this is what I like, this is what I want, this is how I want it designed. So in asking him these questions, I had a bit of an eye-opener as to, migration patterns and what realistically is a hard border, and what is a soft border, and do these borders actually exist, and how much of African geographical migration patterns is unknown to myself. So if you enjoy our content, you can like, follow, subscribe, and leave your comments also. And you can follow Musings Behind the Creative at Studio RDN-x, and you can follow me, Renata Dixon-Nwosu, at Loma Medici, both on Instagram. So I started a conversation with one of my friends, and I'm really trying to figure out how to go about my task of finding out what is the African lexicon of design. So me and Soz were just literally talking about me taking a trip to Burkina Faso. Was it Burkina Faso? Ivory Coast. And he was just describing a couple of things to me. So back to you, babe.
Okay, cool. Like Ivory Coast is like a mixed nation, mixed nation. Ghanaian got one side of Ivory Coast. On top of Ivory Coast, there's Burkina Faso, there's Guinea. On the side of Ivory Coast, there's Liberia. Okay? So these are the kids that come together and create Ivory Coast. So if you decided to create a chair from Ivory Coast, and you say, okay, cool, the same chair, you might get a designer from the north, and the west, and the east. If they sat down, they told them, okay, cool, I'll give you a task to design a chair for me. The chair, the vision, won't be the same. Because the chair from the north, and yet it's an Ivory Coast, it will look like basically a chair from Burkina Faso.
Right, because of...
Yeah, the tribe come from Burkina Faso.
Right.
So if you told me to design a chair from a tribe from Ashanti, from on the side of Ivory Coast, like on the side of Ivory Coast, the chair will look like a Ghanaian chair, because these kids came from Ghana and came and had kids with people in Ivory Coast and create like a little nation on the side. Okay, so you got Bete, Gere. These are like the boys from Liberia. So, okay, basically my tribe, there's exactly the same tribe in Liberia. They speak the same language as me, Gere. They're from Liberia. And you got Burkina Faso kids now, they're coming they're still on top of the Ivory Coast. They're basically their family are from, I think, Burkina Faso or Guinea. You know what I'm saying? So you need to look into what really you're looking for, what type of chair you're looking for, because if you tell me you're looking for just one design from Ivory Coast, it won't be one design. No,
I don't think it's a matter of one design, but like the same way I'm looking at Nigeria. Nigeria is a mixed culture.
Yes.
And it's kind of difficult to see where one space starts and one space begins. But I think I'm kind of more interested in the origin stories, because no one's saying that we can't look back into history and then innovate. I'm looking to kind of get my understanding of what the design lexicon is.
100%.
Like I can go into Ghana and I know what the particular type of masks are from Ghana. I can look in certain parts of Nigeria and I'm able to recognize where those things are coming from. And I think as black creatives or black designers, the industry or the way we've learned or our practice has pretty much been from whichever country we're based in. So that then becomes a problem as to say, well, how can I look back to my parents' country of origin and see what the history of design is? And it's not necessarily easy to find. So I thought I'd ask you.
So yeah, you know, if you think about it, if you imagine, when you talk about Africa, Africa is like just a continent that's just there. But obviously, one white person can't come and rule the whole Africa. It's like English people came. They can't take on the whole Africa. So England thought, okay, cool, let's just divide a little bit and be able to take over that side of Africa. French came and designed a little bit and took side of that. That's how they decided to design Africa, and they took small parts of it and create them and say, okay, cool, this is Ghana, this is Nigeria, this is Ivory Coast, this is this, that. You know what I'm saying? If you left Africa, like a West Africa example, if you left it the way it was, the same food you eat in Ghana and Liberia and Nigeria and all of that, we eat exactly the same food in Ivory Coast, but it's different names. You know what I'm saying? We eat plakali, you know, might call it pounded yam, exactly the same thing. Fufu they eat in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, they call it what do you call it, banana. You know what I'm saying? It's different, but we eat exactly the same thing. So in a way, we're all similar in everything. Our masks, traditions, we're all exactly the same way in how we do things. But because we're being brainwashed, okay, cool, because I speak English and you speak French, that means I am from Liberia and I'm from Nigeria, you're from Ivory Coast, that means we're different in certain things, but no, we're not. You know what I'm saying? If you look back, even your culture, and you look back into it, we don't even know where your culture is born. Is it born in Nigeria or is it born somewhere else? Because you lot got like you lot got what you call the Muslim speakers in your country.
Okay, yeah, so Nigeria, you have the north, south, east.
Okay, and the north, what they speak in the north?
The northern part of Africa.
Not in Nigeria.
Sorry, the northern part of Nigeria is Fulanese, Hausa, and I think Yoruba.
Cool. Stop you there. You know Hausa? That tribe Hausa, they go Hausa in Ghana.
Well, yeah.
Okay, and that's exactly the same thing. They go Hausa in Ivory Coast.
Which means that the borders weren't supposed to be where the borders are.
Yes, there's no borders because Hausa.
Well, what I mean is like you have the border of Nigeria, and you think just Hausas just live in Nigeria.
Okay.
Actually, Hausas
everywhere.
Okay.
So imagine if you got Hausa in Liberia, you got Hausa in Ghana, you got Hausa in Nigeria, and to go on top of that, you got Hausa in Ivory Coast, and to take it more further, you got Hausa in Burkina Faso. That's what all of them are, and you're gonna go on top of that, you got Mali, that's Hausas.
See, yeah, I would have never thought of it like that.
Look, that's what I call. If you get out of the country, you will see what's around you, because your brainwash. If you're in Nigeria, they gave you a plan to say, okay, cool, the Hausas are only on this side of Nigeria. But Hausas are not just there.
No, yeah.
It's like the tribal, when you talk about tribes, then you call Ashanti tribe, they're in this side of Ghana, and they're the strongest tribe. No, because if you look deep into it, the same way Ghanaian wear their thrones and you wear gold shoes, exactly there's another tribe in Ivory Coast, they wear exactly the same things. They do exactly the same things.
Which means we're more connected than we actually
connected than we think
we are.
Yeah.
Well,
so
then
because the
right
science, yes, 100% you are, and because we don't have science to say, okay, where you're genetically coming from, we'll never trade that path to know.
This is what I'm trying to do through design, because I feel like
so you can use design now to trace through design. You can open up people's mind and think, you know what, you're not just born in that dot here. Your dot literally can lead further than you think it is.
Yeah. And seeing how accessible everything is in your culture and bloodline. And
100%.
I think it's important as a designer to understand these movements of ornamentation or symbology.
Yes.
To kind of just understand how the cultures lay up. And I feel like they did us an injustice when they came in and saw everything that we did, and they were just like, well.
And I feel like I'm not being disrespectful to a white community and white people. I'm not being you know what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, to be able to understand something, you have to be born in something to understand it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's quick. It's quick for you to come and just steal a religion or steal something from somewhere, and not knowing where is it coming from. You just fuel it and bring it to your country and you think, okay, cool, this is what is that. But deep down, do you really know how powerful the thing you just got in your country is? Do you know what the stuff coming from? You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than they think it is. It's very deeper than this.
See, I was thinking about this last night, and I was thinking, like, I did a mini skit of, like, maybe for all better intents, the colonialists
100%.
coming to any part of Africa, or like, because there's documentations that I've read of, like, Lord Lugard on his writings to the monarchy, to just basically be like, well, Igbo people, you know, they're nice people, they have an understanding of religion and spirituality, and like I tell you in verbatim, black and white, it had it saying, and it would be easy for them to assimilate the Christian religion. And I sat there reading that and thinking, is anybody else seeing this level of madness? I mean, what gives you the temerity and the right to come into my space? Because I look at it as you came into my house, you then told me the arrangement of my furniture
100%.
does not meet your standards, and basically I need to dash away all my furniture and take the furniture. And it's just crazy to me, because I don't operate like that.
Yes, but you know the one thing is well in Africa we lack of, if we had this from the start, we won't be where we are right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're reading books about somebody else wrote about your country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and this
we're
is
reading,
what I kept saying, like, the
we're
black
reading
experience
books.
is never experienced. It's
so
always
when you go
used.
to, example, if you go to school in Nigeria, when you talk about geography, you talk about science, what did they teach you about all of that?
Well, it was probably everything that was given to you from your colonial.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, is what they wrote down.
Yeah.
But deep down, this should not be reading about what is that. You should be reading about your country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What A, B, C, and who is the tribal leader of this and that. That's what you should be reading, because that's your science and that's your history. You know what I'm saying? You can't be reading how this general went to freaking what do you call it, USA and find the country. You don't need to do that. That's not your country.
Actually, the more you do that,
you lose yourself and you lose your value on this.
Yeah.
You lose Africa in basic. You lose everything about Africa then.
Well, then you start looking outside of yourself, and you start looking for outside validation.
Yes.
And we have now gotten to the point where, because we're so used to maybe searching for that,
You know
we can't seem to put infrastructure in our own countries because we're looking for outside.
Somebody said to me one time, when I landed in Ivory Coast, the first time I went to Ivory Coast after 10 years, at the airport, this man, we got on the same flight. We got there. When we jump off the plane, you have to walk on to get to the airport, like to go inside the airport. You have to walk on the soil to get there. The guy took his shoes off.
Yeah, for reasons.
Yes, he took his shoes off because he wanted to feel the ground and say, you know what, I feel I'm at home.
But you know the thing about that, the thing about that is that in therapy, or different modes of therapy, like if you feel, like I had a workshop yesterday, and they were like asking me like, how'd you feel? And I was like, I feel a little bit tense. And they were like, okay, balance your feet out and grind it into the ground.
Yeah.
But it's funny how like we've turned something that was innately natural to us to now like it's now a prescribed way of thinking, and we now don't take that much interest in it because it's like, well, it's like, you know that this is Eba, but now you have the scientific word of Eba, which is now probably some sort of Roman derogatory or
and now
something.
you think that's the coolest way to call it.
Well, now you can't connect to
Yeah,
it.
you can't connect to that.
So
it's like someone saying to you, okay, cool, wearing shoes is cool, and someone's telling you not wearing shoes is not cool. You know what I'm saying? Me and my tribe, we don't wear shoes, flat-footed, feel the ground underneath you. You're more powerful. You're in touch with the ground. You know what I'm saying? Your surrounding. You're in touch of it. We get lost in the source here and say, okay, cool. Wearing shoes is such a cool thing. When someone don't wear shoes, look how cool it is. Not knowing all the kings.
All of that is.
Not knowing all the kings and queens back at home. They used to wear no shoes. They got braids. They got chains with powerful golds on them. You know what I'm saying? To let them know this. We're controlling the thing.
To the earth,
you know what I'm saying? The gorilla, the most strongest animal on this earth, he don't wear shoes. Why is that?
Because it's consistently
because
connected.
The earth is his fucking
tool.
He's connected to the earth. You can't lift him. Why is that? It's connected to the earth. You know what I'm saying? This is what our generation become. We think, okay, cool. Take off the shoes. Now, you know what? Put the shoes on. No. You see what that means? You lose
A
the
side
connection.
of yourself, yeah.
You lose the connection between you and Earth. But the power of Earth is inside us. The Earth tells you how you feel. If you're uncomfortable in a place, one day you do that. When you're uncomfortable somewhere, take your shoes off, flat-footed, and relax.
No, that's what happened in the session.
Yeah, okay.
No, that's what happened in the
But this
session.
is
Like
what I'm telling you,
the
it's
minute like we grounded ourselves,
You feel
like you were fine.
more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? And it goes in everything we do. When you feel weak and you're about to do one of the most heaviest workout called the deadlift, even in training. When you feel weak, take off your shoes, feel the ground under you, feel it, be soft. You lift up. So everything now is being. There's still everything you need to know, and turn into something. So you're lost. You don't know. You're doing it because you have to do it because everyone's doing it.
So this is the thing why I kind of said to myself, I've learned theoretically how everything works. I read it, to be fair, I almost autopilot it in the office because I've learned how to do these things. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, so but what does this actually mean to you? How does it connect to you? What is your practice? Is it because that you've gone to university and studied architecture or design for however many years it took you to get to that point, and now you're now in the system, like you're now creating designs? But what am I creating? I know the client is important. The client is always important, but it's just the ways of seeing myself and the ways of feeling connected and the ways of feeling safe and enclosed. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that, in order to see that, you need to see yourself. But then
100%.
If you're not going to give me visibility for it to be like the design grades that are of black heritage, that have produced furniture, that have done architecture, but if you're not going to give me that, well, I need to kind of go back and start looking at these things
100%.
myself.
That's what I'm telling you.
Myself.
Yeah, but 100% you need to, for me, any designer, any painter, you know what I'm saying, anyone that's looking to find out about where he's from, you need to go back where you all started. Not just the city, because city is like the most brainwashed place to be. Go to the villages when all you're gonna hear the sound of what? Water, the wind, yeah, and birds. Okay, if you can hear these type of things, you connect with the whole, with everything. You know what I'm saying? You can't hear nothing here because we're brainwashed with all the noise around. This is not real noise. Real noise should be nature. Water, nature noise. Okay, if you feel all of that, you can draw better picture. You can see better picture. Your vision wide and clear.
Well, then that tells me that as a designer or as an architect, I need to design and I need to create spaces that allows people to somehow re-immerse them, re-engage themselves with these kind of nuances.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because right now, when you see the new buildings and everything, they all copy the back in the days. You know what I'm saying? If you look about it, if you look in London right now, people are raving about the Shard and all of this. If you look at the Shard building at the finish of it is where you came from. The finish of it is Africa right there in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you go France and you look at that,
what was it?
The most famous towers in France.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower is pretty much another pyramid.
Okay, cool. So if you go back in your village and you see the finish of your great grandfather's house
will also be the capstone of another pyramid.
Thank you.
So it's literally how we interpret it according to our culture.
Amen to that, sister. It's like how people come and people don't understand the vision, but they take what they see and they come and drop it here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're looking at it, oh, that's so cool because it's in glass. No. It's cool when it's in your village.
It should be cool when it's in your village.
Yes, you saw that in your village, but you didn't think it was so cool because the white man didn't say, he didn't design that. You see,
because you're still looking for outside validation.
Thank you. That's why it's cool now when you see in London. You saw that in your village, nobody say it was cool. But white men went to your village and say, oh, that look cool, I must steal that.
They believe it to be cool, yeah.
I must steal that, I'm going to drop it here. Then now Renata going to look at it from a different picture and think, it's cool. I'm going to go eat it, it's cool.
Okay, so I guess my next question or what I'm going to focus on is then, how do you value your identity?
Okay, cool.
Well, not to you, but I think this is something that I'm just going to carry on. Like, how do you value your identity? Because if you're waiting for somebody else to give you validation, I know it's subconsciously.
Yes.
How do you then start placing that level of currency back into your own self to now, I don't know.
Prove, like, show the world that this is me and this is how we are and this is what we do. You know, if you look, for example, the deepest thing is, you know you're powerful.
Oh yeah, I know that.
You know you're powerful. Okay, you know that. But not every black girl that goes, or black women that go into a workplace think they're powerful.
No.
They feel like they're under everybody. They feel like they're under.
But these are things that you have to kind of work through, though.
Yes, but if you're powerful enough, a white woman can stand up in front of a crowd and say, "Shut up, everybody!" Everyone just drop. Because they're that powerful. You can be on a train by yourself and feel safe, even though you're surrounded by different race. That's how much power you carry. And even doesn't matter all the race that's around you.
You still feel safe. And
you're
secure.
still safe.
Yeah.
But imagine if you turn that way around and you feel, okay, cool. Now it's gonna be just, I'm not being racist or being racial. But if a white person done exactly the same thing and he went to in Africa and he's surrounded by.
Oh no, they feel scared. They feel scared.
Okay, cool. See, that's the difference of power you carry. But people now made us feel like we're not so cool as human beings. When a black girl stand up and say she's speaking mind, they think, oh, look at her, she's got all black on me. Oh, yeah. Because they don't understand how much power you carry. So now what I would do if I was, because I know where I'm from, I know where I am. People that don't know where they are, they should travel back in time. I'm not talking about go to Ghana and sit in a city because there's nothing you can find there. Go back and find. It doesn't matter if you're just tribal or not. Say to yourself, I'm going to go and find out about Ashanti tribe. And go to the village where Ashanti tribe is, eat like them, sleep in the same place they slept, wake up on an early morning, see what they do.
It's a different energy.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother about this. Like the way I operate in Nigeria and the way I operate here, I'm trying to get myself to a point where I operate equally in the same dynamics because I cannot come and go.
Yes, I went to Africa. And I traveled to the tea village, okay? I travel in a place where you see the trees. They look, one thing that on earth, tree got spirits in them. Yeah. But I didn't believe that till I'm there. Okay. I traveled to just say Birmingham and Cheltenham, and there's trees like they're man-made, skinny ass trees. That's not trees. I traveled to Africa in my village, and the trees were so massive.
Yeah, the
you look
up, so deep.
You look up, you can't see the end of it.
Yeah.
You look up, you can't see the end, but you see the dark. But you know that tree that you're sitting under, you got fucking roots, and his spirit is somebody.
You know what? Something that someone said to me in Nigeria that it blew my mind because like my progression to like being where I am now or like making the moves I'm making now, I always used to beat myself up about how long it's taking. And when I'm gonna be able to like do those things and be and be free and have that space to operate in. And he said to me, he was like the bamboo tree, right? Let me make sure I get this right.
Yeah.
But he said that it does not have a shoot that comes up to the surface for 3 years.
When
3 years, this thing is digging its roots,
and
those roots are more than 10 meters deep. And then he said, but when the shoot comes up, it takes about 6 months. And if you see the height on that, and I'm thinking like, secondly, so we run away from ourselves, but in the darkness is where we are made. I feel like now I'm going to start. What's his name? What was the movie? People are going to just laugh at me. What's the movie? It was like in the darkness you were made, you fear it, blah, blah, blah. But it's so true. Like everything about our culture that we maybe like try and run away from, that's the darkness that we understood. We had a knowing, we had the connection to everything. Yeah. So why is it now that like you don't want to do that level of incubation? You don't want to do that level of practice.
We're being brainwashed we'll put in a corner and you feel like a cool. This corner is cool, this corner is not so cool. But you know one thing you need to understand. All these races we're doing right now, the finish is going to be in Africa. Regardless if it's 10 years now or 20,000 years from now, I told you, the end's going to be there. Okay? The end's going to be there because a white man knows himself, the end's going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
This is why, like, see, this is the thing. We're going to say that we're no longer, enslaving people, but we're now ruling from a distance, which means
I have access to your resources,
Yes.
and I give you pennies for it, and then you come over to my country and you see how my resources are working in my country and everybody else, and somehow you feel less than.
Yes. But you know, one thing we need to understand is we need to start worshipping the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why we're here. Some people chase money and lose everything behind them. It's like if you go in a village and just say the chief in the village gave you something, you're not gonna pay him back in money. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you. It's blessing his need. You know what I'm saying? When you give him something, you don't care about the money. You know what I'm saying? All they care about the working energy, blessing. Before you came to Europe, if you remember when you were young, and obviously when you go see your great grandfather, wherever, first thing they do, they do what? They bless you.
Yeah.
Okay, they bless you with knowledge. They don't bless you and say, oh, money don't have value on this earth. Money is printed to control us. You know what I'm saying? You're on the soil of Africa. One guy said to me, "No, I'm white man." This one, he said, "Only if Africa knows how powerful the shit they're standing on, if they know how powerful that is,
it blows my mind.
They will always win."
Do you know what I thought? I was literally thinking, so how can we solve this problem? And in my very humble opinion, I feel like there needs to be a thing of whereby, so what am I going to say? The raw materialities in Africa, right? The raw building blocks that powers every other place. And it's not to say that other countries don't have their own thing before people have an opinion about that, but it comes from Africa. So then you're taking all of that stuff, like I was saying, you're paying me peanuts. Well, how do we get restitution? Because if we're really talking about, we don't really necessarily want to be equal in, because I can't be equal to you in terms of, we can't be the same height. I can't have the same hue of your complexion as you do, but what we can do is have access. So if you're going to have access to my minerals, what you have to give me is access to things that are going to make my country livable in.
Yes, but we don't need them to do that for us.
No. But if they're going to trade, because they can't afford to pay us back.
It will never be fair trade.
They can't afford to pay us back.
What we need to do is our leaders or our people need to stand up in a way that, okay, and copy what Dubai just done. Yeah, I'm saying Dubai. I'm just picking little countries. Dubai. 20 years ago, Dubai would just say what? Desert. Okay, cool. When they found out there's a bit of oil, what happened to that? It blew up, yeah? The whole country blew up.
Right.
Okay, cool. So that's exactly the same thing we need to do. We say, okay, if you want to get this, pay this back. If we don't want them, then leave. We don't want them to trade.
Well, this is the same thing I'm talking, but they don't necessarily have to give money.
Yeah, but
there's human currency.
Yeah, because we chase money, so they give us what we need.
That's what we think we need. What we need.
But this is our president. That's what they changed. It's like a president have £1 billion in cash in his house, so the dogs can sit on, because they think that's what they need, not knowing that
it's human currency. It's the skills exchange. If you want to come in and mine this, and we don't have the skill set to mine it.
And the thing is, a white person ready to do that for us.
But we have to be ready to ask.
We have to ask that. The white person can't give you something if you don't ask for it. If like, have you ever been to work and you're pissed off, but you kept it inside you, but no one cared. But the day you stand up and say, I am pissed off, you're bullying me. Now, you're gonna call the HR. People start dealing with it. You can't just hit you. It's deeper than you think. But yeah, we can solve it, but we don't want to do it. It's deep. When we sit down proper, we talk.
Nah, this has been good. I think we should, I was thinking to myself, how am I going to start these discussions? Because these are things that I'm consistently thinking about. But it's nice to do it on a lunch break.
Honestly.
And I look forward to this being out. This wasn't even the plan, but it's happening. Cool. So you have been listening to Musings Behind the Creative.
That's it.
And it's brought to you by Studio RDN-x. And if you'd just like to introduce yourself, because we didn't do the introduction in the beginning.
Well, I'm SOS. They call me Thermal Fitness. So yeah, I follow SOS. Yeah, I follow the journey. We need to wake up. That's what we're doing.